this journey you're on, you can fight it or you can sit in it and realize that you're meant to be on it. And I mean, there's, of course, like my husband and I are in a battle for his life, and we're in a battle against this horrible word, cancer. But we also know that in the midst of the battle, we're supposed to be in this battle right now. The journey we're actually meant to be on at this moment. And I feel like if you're always sitting in, like, this is awful, in that victim mindset, this is, why is this happening to me? Instead of, this might just be happening for me. This might actually be helping me. And how is it? What am I meant to learn through this?
Welcome to Step Into the Light, the podcast where stories of struggle become stories of strength and pain transforms into power. The show is proudly sponsored by Project Icon. I'm your host, Jack Lima, and I can't wait to share today's conversation with you. I'm your host, Jack Lima. Today I have joining with us is Sumer Morenz. Summer, how are you doing today?
Doing so good, Jack. How are you?
I'm well. I mean, we live in Arizona. Look at the weather outside. That's why we live here, right?
It's so beautiful. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast.
You're welcome. And so, done a little research, like I always do on my potential listeners or readers. And you want to give us a little bit about your background and a little, if you say, infomercial about yourself?
Yeah, I'm a mom of three, been married for almost 27 years, and I'm a health coach. I actually have lost 85 pounds myself. I've been health coaching now for 11 years, retired both me and my husband from our full-time jobs into this, I call it businessry. It's like a business/ministry where we get to love on people and help them really find out what's the most important thing in their life. I am about to be an author. I just wrote my first book that should be launching here, hopefully, in the beginning of 2026. And I'm the kind of person that just really believes in the power of gratitude and positivity and shifting your future and your thought processes. So that's a little bit about me, but I mean, I'm also
Yeah.
a friend to lots of people. So
Yeah. So Summer and I met actually a fitness club here called Hive. And if everybody had a chance to meet her in person, you have such an energy, such a pull. And I'm sure you've heard this many times before, but there's like a light that's above you wherever you walk. And I was telling my wife the other day, Amanda, as you know, I'm like, every time I'm around Summer, I just feel good. It's just this, I don't know what it is. Like there's a guiding light above you. So it kind of matches what we talk about stepping into the light, which is, I think, is really important to get your word out. So this book that you decided to write, why now? Why not
Mm.
5 ago? What made you to say, I got to write this book?
Yeah, that's such a good question. This last 2 years, my husband was diagnosed with stage 4 prostate cancer. And what was supposed to be just this little prostate cancer, if you ever hear, that's like the easy one to cure. That's the easy one, right, to take care of. And we went through a really difficult season with doctors where we were getting kind of bullied into care and just pressured to do some stuff that we didn't fully feel was right for us at the time. And come to find out, they knew the whole time that his cancer had spread already to his bones, and they didn't tell us. And they wanted us to have surgery, which he wouldn't have needed to have if it had spread, right? So needless to say, we're in the thick of his cancer and finding out a year in that it spread everywhere, all over his vertebrae and in his lymph nodes. And at the same time, and this is something my son said I could talk about, at the same time, my son is suicidal and wanting to end his life, I think because of all of the angst of what we were walking through. And then 3 months later, my dad was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, and that was from his military service. I was just in this thick of the moment, feeling like I could not breathe. And when I was driving down the road, I was like, I need something right now. And the title of my book popped into my head, and it's called Caregiver's Guide to Sanity. And when that title popped in my head, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I need this. I need this book."
Yeah.
And I felt like it was, you need it, so write it. If you're not the only, not the only one out there that needs this, that's caregiving someone that they love, you know. And I feel like sometimes we say caregiver and we think nurses, doctors, or, you know, people of
Retirement.
special.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're not thinking a mom or a
Oh,
spouse or just someone walking through a diagnosis like this is a caregiver. So it dropped in my head, and I was like, you know what? I need an outlet right now, and I need this too. So I'm going to start writing this book to myself. And that's what happened.
so if I were to read your book, what one core lesson could I take away from reading your book if I was a reader?
Yeah. That it's so important to take care of yourself while you're taking care of others. And you
Yeah.
know, no matter where you're at in life, no matter what you're doing, I think it's easy to kind of put yourself on the back burner, put
Yeah.
your goals, your desires, your dreams for those
Yeah.
that you love on the back burner. And really going, okay, there's a reason why they say put your oxygen mask on first on a
Yeah.
plane. You
Yes.
know,
Very
it's
true.
so important. It's
Yeah.
so important because if you're passed out cold on a plane, you're not going to be able to help anybody,
No,
you
you're
know?
right. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I get that a lot too, that we're so, as a husband or as a wife, or we're specifically supposed to be their purpose, right? To help them what we want. But, I go to a men's group on Saturdays called Dragon Slayers here at the Hive, and they says, well, you can't pour into someone unless your heart is fulfilled. And
yeah,
it's the analogy you said with the plane. You got to put the oxygen mask first. So sometimes we forget that we're so fixated on the kids or the partners that you're not fulfilled and you're not fulfilling what you should be doing, right? And I think a lot of people do that,
yeah,
and we always look for the answers in someone else, but the answer is really right in the heart, right? That matters the
yeah.
most. So, is there a story that you could share with us, a quick story that's in your book that would make somebody say, "Wow, that I can relate to that"?
Yeah. You know, one of the things about the book is I just went really raw. I was
Mhm.
like, I'm going to tell you all the themes I'm navigating. And one of the stories, it's simple, but it was just how one morning we got up to go get ready and our dogs had gotten sick everywhere, like just everywhere. And the angst that comes with that and the frustration that comes with that and how to kind of walk through the emotions and not allow it to ruin your whole day. And I think so many of us let little things in life be a catalyst to a day being completely thrown off. And
Yeah,
then it's hard to self-regulate and get back to where we need to be in order to actually like to give and to give out of a place of joy. You know,
yeah,
when my husband and I have been walking through this cancer journey, we actually had to come to a place of gratitude for cancer. And it almost sounds crazy saying those
yeah,
words.
yeah. Because
I know.
I mean, yeah. How do you come up with that concept? Because I think most people would be like, "Why me?" Right? I think
Yeah.
at first shock, but
Yeah.
the gratitude is I understand where that may be coming from, but it's still hard to like be gratitude, especially the seriousness of the illness, right? But
Yeah.
how do you stay positive through that? I mean, you're always smiling, you're always vibrant, you're so kind. With all that stuff, can make anybody really like anxious or depressed. But
Yeah.
you deal with it in such a way that, it could help other people that are dealing with the same situation. So how do you progress the day knowing that heavy weight that you carry? How do you deal with it? Do you
You
compartmentalize,
know,
separate it? Do you try to keep the distance from it? Do you try not to put in the forefront? Or you just say, I'll take day by day as it is, and whatever God gives me, I can't worry about tomorrow. How do you
yeah.
get through the transition?
You know, I would say one, shifting every day and focusing on gratitude will change your life.
Mhm.
I think if I could leave everyone with one tip, my coach, you know, my coach, Doug Wood, who owns the Hive, he's
Yeah,
actually, him and his wife, Tia, are like my personal coaches. Um, I literally my whole life, and this is what's funny, Jack, I dealt with depression my whole life. Like severe depression, like where I wouldn't want to leave my room. I
Well,
wouldn't, and a lot of people didn't know, right? Because we would show our
yeah,
highlight reel on
for
social
sure.
media.
Sure.
But when I found out the power of gratitude, it was because my coach, Doug, challenged me during a season of depression. And this depression had gone on for like 2 months. It was long. Like I was just done with life. I was so frustrated with everything. And he goes, Summer, what are you grateful for? And I wanted to smack him, literally. I was like, pop, I just wanted to smack him. And he's like, no, really, what are you grateful for? And at the time, I was like, the only thing I can think of is like breath, that I'm alive, because I was
Mm,
just not grateful. And he goes, I'm going to challenge you every day before you do anything else. Start your day writing down 3 things you're grateful for. And he goes, and I bet it's going to dramatically change your life. And I was like, okay, well, because I'm up for a challenge, and if someone challenges me, I'm going to do it. I'm like,
yeah.
I'll give this to you and I'll do it for 30 days and see what happens. Well, for 30 days, I did the challenge. And do you know, Jack, I have not been depressed since, ever since.
So how do you
It is
explain the switch?
Well, what happens scientifically when you start writing gratitude, it actually retrains your brain and builds different neuroplast like just what is the word? Neural pathways in your brain. It actually reroutes your brain so that you start seeing what you're grateful for. So even with this cancer journey, it's like, yes, I can every day be angry at cancer and every day want to fight it. But when you start to look, well, what is it? What am I learning in it? What is it doing for me? What am I supposed to move through so that I can be a better human at the end of this and so that me and my husband can have a closer relationship through this? It really helps you shift in how you look at it. And so I actually look at cancer as a gift. It has changed everything for us. Now, I mean, we've sold what most people would call a dream home to pay for cancer treatments, but who cares? You
Yeah.
know, it's like it's just a thing, and this is a life. It's like it just really helps you put your head into a place of what matters most to you and what's most important.
Which is time and family.
Yeah, more
Yeah.
than anything else.
Yeah, that's a lesson I learned this season as well, is that it's not about the collection of things that you own. It's actually your happiness. I went through that stage until I joined Hive as well, where I have my purpose is take care of the wife and the kids, right? Your purpose. I always question the last 10 years, do we just work to work and have all these possessions and
Yeah,
travel and buy things? It's such an empty feeling. And
it really is.
it's so important to understand that that once you find your happiness, I had to find my purpose, and my purpose is kind of like pouring into others that are less fortunate or cannot ask for help because they're ashamed, they're embarrassed, or they don't want to be judged.
Mhm.
And the great things that we do in our work, because you're the same person I am, is that we want to pour ourselves genuinely into someone else, not
Yeah,
for a profit, not for social media clout, but just the type of people we have. And too much social media is all fake, right?
yeah,
Because it's the best part of their life. Much might be 1% of it, right?
yeah,
99% of it's made up. And so to make an impact, we have to start with us, right? And I
yes,
believe that what we're doing, it's on a small scale, but again, you change one life, it's like saving a life. I've been there, done that. I'm sure you've been there and done that. I've dealt with a lot of people that were suicidal
yeah,
through my charity event I had 10 years ago. People just wanted to die from Crohn's disease. They didn't want to deal with it. And just a couple kind words or a couple conversations changed people's perspective, and you saved a life, right? So what
yeah,
better gratitude is that? I don't need a bigger car. We don't need a bigger house. We just want to pour into people and get that feeling of love, right?
yeah,
So in your book, since it's completely written already, right?
yeah.
What chapter challenged you the most to write, and what's your favorite?
You know, I don't have all my titles in front of me. I wish I did right now while we were talking about this. Um, Probably the most challenging chapter that I had to write was when I talked about my son, True, and him going through a season of being suicidal and cutting. And I think the reason why that was such a hard chapter to write is because so much when you're in the thick of things, you want to kind of grasp control. And
Yeah.
I'm grasping my fist shut. So those that are listening to this is how I kind of look at it is when you're grasping for control, your fists are like closed and your teeth are gritted and you're trying to make everybody happy and everything okay. And
Right.
when you just don't have control and you relinquish control, that was what that chapter did for me, was help me realize like, oh my goodness, I have to relinquish control and I don't have it. And so many people are, especially nowadays, kind of out of control. You know, their emotions are out of control, their space is out of control, their relationships are out of control. Really, health is all encompassing. It's not just about your physical body.
Right.
It's mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, relational. And if you're only focusing on one of those things, and a lot of people only focus on the financial side or on the physical side,
Yeah.
but they forget, the bigger picture. And really, I believe that if you're not connected with God, if you don't have a relationship with God, then it's going to be really hard for you to have all of those areas line up. So,
Right.
helping my son also see how absolutely precious he was and helping him own his own space and come to a place of accountability. I think sometimes as parents too, it's hard for us to not just like love on your children and be there for your children, but also help them own and rise up to their challenge and their accountability as well.
Yeah. It's, I mean, that subject is, it's hard to talk about, right? But most times, that's the one subject we definitely want to talk about is, when people are thinking about taking their own life. It's definitely a challenge for both sides, right? You get depressed, and I know when you get depressed, you don't think straight, right? But all we can do is support them, the best that we
Yeah.
can. So, if I were to read your book, what one practical tool could I pull away from your book that I could use today?
The practical tool I would say, and I live by this tool, is starting your morning with gratitude.
Okay.
I say that so strongly because if you just literally write down 3 words in the morning that you're grateful for, fear and gratitude can't live in the same brain. You can't have at the same time thoughts of angst and
Yeah.
gratitude. It actually helps your calm your system down. So that has been such a life changing thing for me. And I feel like I've actually helped a lot of people install this practice. And a lot of people have experienced very similar to me. Now, I'm not a doctor. I can't say, oh, it takes away depression, but I can say that it can definitely help you get through those thought processes and see the flip side of what negativity would want you to see. And that can change everything.
So if I were to read, again, I'm putting myself in a position as a reader and
Yeah.
read your book, do you think sometimes we overwhelm them with information where they're like, I get so much information, I don't know where to start? Is that simple where they can actually see an example, pick out a tool and go, I can apply that right away versus I have to practice and practice. Like you said, writing the 3 things down. That's something they could do right away and probably see results, I'm assuming. Because I know in my world, the business world, you write your monthly business goals, your commission, your sales, and so forth. It's probably the same thing, I'm assuming, right? To make it,
Yeah. Yeah, actually, the way my book is kind of lined out is it's very story driven because I think we learn best from stories. And
okay.
then at the end of every chapter is a letter from someone else that's navigated a similar situation. So I've actually have a whole bunch of people collaborating in this book.
Oh,
Doug is actually in it. Tia's in it.
oh,
My
wow.
mentors in the business. And then at the end of every chapter, there's a place for you to actually write your thoughts. So I'm going to ask some questions so that you can go into practical application because that's how if you don't practically apply things into
Yeah.
your life, there's no change.
No, I
And
know.
I want to help people not just get through being a caregiver, but come out on the other side not smelling like the fire that they just walked through.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And it's so much, as you know, there's so much information overload out there. You
Yes.
can't tell what's real, what's
Yeah.
authentic. and what is
Yeah.
just AI. Even AI now is confusing people. I'm reading some of these responses that I get, and I'm like, that doesn't sound like a human, right? I don't know if
No.
you've been able to tell that recently, but it's thrown me away. What would you say to the person who picks up your book because they're searching for healing or reconnection?
I would say this journey you're on, you can fight it or you can sit in it and realize that you're meant to be on it. And I mean, there's, of course, like my husband and I are in a battle for his life, right? And we're in a battle against this horrible word, cancer. But
Yeah.
we also know that in the midst of the battle, we're supposed to be in this battle right now. It's the journey we're actually meant to be on at this moment. And I feel like if you're always sitting in, like, this is awful, in that victim mindset, this is horrible, why is this happening to me? Instead of, this might just be happening for me, this might actually be helping me. And how is it? What am I meant to learn through this? Just that shift in posture of those questions will help you really navigate it. So I'll just tell you, if you're going through a hard thing with a loved one, you're not alone. You don't need to be alone. If you're feeling alone, maybe find us on social media so we can surround you and love on you and help you lift your arms. There's a story in the Bible that talks about Moses and how he had to hold his arms up for a battle to be won, but he got so tired, his arms started to fall down. And when they started to fall down, they started to lose the battle. Well, he had
Mm,
two guys come up beside him and hold his arms up in the midst of the battle. And
yeah.
sometimes you need someone to hold your arms up. It's okay to not be strong enough all the time. And I think that was also a hard lesson for me to learn. Because, like you said, Jack, I like to be like, okay, everything's fine. It's not always fine.
Yeah.
Sometimes it
Yeah.
stinks.
Yeah. Because if you're, again, whether you're the head of the household, they look for you for strength. And then if you kind of give that little chink in the armor, they might not be as secure in what you're saying, because if you're doubting it and that person's even doubting it more, it just becomes now a situation where like we're both nervous, both scared. But the person that's leading the household, if you will, they have their moments where they're like, man, I just don't feel like leading today, or I just can't lead today, or I'm just tired. And you gotta look to your partner or your friend or your coworker how to step up. But I think as leaders, I think we are leaders,
Yeah.
it's hard to ask for help, right? Because we feel
Yes.
like we're under control. We don't want them to feel, the person that's insecure feel more insecure because we don't have it. And I think that's where we have to self-assess and go, am I okay? Am I healthy? And I think
Yeah.
by giving examples of your life and your story in your book, people need to hear that. They need to know that they can walk through a fire and come out the other side not burnt, right? So
Yeah.
dealing with Mike's serious health condition, yeah, I would say to myself, I'm like, man, that's hard, but it's also a lesson in humility, and that there's a greater future that's
Yeah.
being made room for something else, right? I believe that we have to have some type of guiding light, right? And
Yeah.
I don't think it has to be a physical form, right? It's going to be in the belief, right? Would you agree with that?
Mm. 100%.
Okay. Moving forward, what is the hope for the book? What do you hope to get out of publishing this book?
My hope is that one, people know that they're not alone in their journey. Two, that they feel a little bit strengthened and find maybe some of their voice in the midst of it. I know that I couldn't find a book like this on the shelves, so that's why I wrote it.
Mhm.
And I really believe that it's going to lend to more books similar, like for parents and for spouses, just because I want to make sure that, you know, the things like I have an incredible relationship with my boys through a lot of hard times, even the hard time we walked through with our son.
How
And
old are you now?
they are 23, 21, and 18.
Okay, so
Eh, They're almost all men.
yeah, yeah, they're ready to fly the coop.
Yeah, they are actually. They are all leaving me in January. We are going to be empty nesters in January.
Yeah.
But I have such a great relationship with them because I chose to, be present with them, but not just be present with them, make our place our home. like nothing's off the table. We'll talk about anything. They don't have to feel guilty about having thoughts that I might not agree with. I want to be that person in their life that can direct them, but not, control them. And I think that's kind of a different mindset when it comes to being a parent. And so I'm definitely going to be writing a book about that. So I feel like it's just kind of a launching pad to what is next for us. And I honestly want to be able to give more. We have a nonprofit that I'm on the board of, and it's called Buena Onda, and it's in Mexico. And it's a free daycare facility that I help run. And my family's been massively involved in, like, just going there and helping build it, even with our hands,
Wow.
but also financially helping start and like raise the funds for it.
Is it currently working? Is it open? Is it?
Yes, we just opened for right now. We're currently at sometimes 4 days a week. We have kids there after school. We have one small school that's starting to utilize our property to teach some of the kids. She was literally doing her school out of a one building, like one of those old one room schoolhouses. So she's now using our facility from time to time. But we know that these kids are going to get a meal because we provide them a meal. We give them after school care so that they're not running the streets while their parents are still working in the farms. And then we give them education. So we're teaching them English, and we're also doing all their homework with them as well. So it's been
That's
super
very,
fun.
it's super rewarding.
It
Wow.
really is. Yeah.
Where, where in Mexico is it?
It's in a small town down past TJ called it's called Punta Colonet, Mexico. It's a tiny little town, but my brother actually adopted a little girl from there, and his daughter Natalie is from there. And so when in the adoption process, her family in Mexico adopted us, our family. And so when her grandma passed away, she gave my brother her land. And then he was there going, okay, how do I honor the family?
Yeah.
And a free daycare facility came up.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That's that's so rewarding. Kids are
Yeah.
so impressionable, Summer, that you make the right impression that changes their lives, right?
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
it's funny how you see people transforming through these seasons, right? We're in a season like none before, as
Yeah.
a church person and myself. Um, we have challenges ahead of us, right? Especially what's going on with the not political side. I don't want to get into that, but everything that's going on, I think it's time for the new generation to step up as well.
Yes.
Your age, my son's 25, that they have a battle in front of them, and
Yeah.
hopefully they can find their way out of it, right? But
Yeah.
so you also, one last thing before you go. Um, I know you have a fitness side of your business. Is it specifically designed for a certain age bracket or certain health condition? Are you targeting women over a certain age to get in better shape? Or is it more about their hormones? What is exactly do you do on that side of it?
Yeah. Well, I actually was a yo-yo dieter for many years, and I was in and out of trying to lose and gain the same 10 pounds, it felt like, all the time.
Yeah.
And I tried to work out all the time. I worked out about 2 hours a day. But if I couldn't work out, and a lot of times with our lifestyles, that's almost ridiculous. Most people can't work out 2 hours a day. So I was letting a lot of things slip in order to be quote unquote healthy. So 11 years ago, my coaches talked to me about nutrition and really going, Summer, you can't work out bad eating habits. Like, it just does not, it's going to catch up to you.
Yeah.
And so I thought I ate healthy until I realized, no, I didn't. My habits were so bad. So really, we focus on habit training and habit stacking, but in easy ways. So it's not a ton of macro counting, and it's just simple nutrition to help people lose weight. So my husband and I have helped about 56,000 people. We have, yeah, I know, in 11
Oh,
years. Yeah,
wow.
it's been fun. It's been a busy
Wow.
11 years.
Yeah, I
But
bet.
what I love is that in this process, it's, men, women, but it's really helping them see if you can't pair it easily with your day, then it's not something you can duplicate or sustain. So when you learn easy habits, it's sustainable. I've kept my weight off now. I lost 85 pounds. I've kept it off for 11 years and I don't yo-yo diet anymore. Now, I like to challenge myself. That's different. I like to move forward and do new things, but and like work on different areas of health, getting more particular. But I've helped as old as 82, I think, was probably one of the oldest women I've helped. And I helped her lose 60 pounds. To I've helped teenagers that are like 12 years old because right now the obesity
Yeah.
epidemic is going younger and younger. So just really helping them have the tools. And I help people all over the country. So it's a
Yeah.
huge passion of mine. It's been fun watching people not just get healthy physically, but also financially. We help them learn how to take care of themselves.
So out of all the businesses that you own, okay, which is your most passionate project?
I am so passionate about health coaching. I think because when someone gets healthy, it changes every part of their life. Their confidence when they walk in a room, it changes their relationships with people. Honestly, Jack, if you were to see me 85 pounds heavier, I wouldn't be on this with you right now.
No?
I would I wouldn't look like this at all. I would be fearful. I used to wear all black so I could hide in the background.
Mm.
And if you looked at my closet, it was different shades of black and grays and browns. Where now I'm like, that's not who I am, but because of my circumstances, I it made me pull back and kind of shrink back from who I was called and meant to be. And now I want everybody to find out they're made to shine. They're made to live a life of light, and if we can help them find that through getting healthy, because then their mindset gets healthy, their relationships get healthy, their finances get healthy, all of it's a catalyst to change.
So I'm not going to let you skip out on this question. Go
Okay.
back 11 years ago. What triggered
Yes.
you to do that though? Something had to trigger you because were you heavy for many years before that? And all of a sudden there was a moment like, man, I got to have health for my children or for my self-respect, or I need to feel more attracted to my husband. What made you click saying, I got to change?
I love that's a really great question. A really good question. Um, so my coach Tia
Yeah.
had seen me from a distance and she was just like the girl she saw my highlight reel, right, on social media because I would post all the pictures of me being, excited or whatever. But I was in and out of weight loss and weight gain at that time. And I was working out 2 hours a day to try to maintain it. I broke my arm in a July 4th parade and I gained 35 pounds in 1 month.
What were you eating? Everything.
No, no, I was immobile. So I went
Yeah.
from working out 2 hours a day to not working out. So I deal with a lot of athletes that do this, right? They go from, being like I have a lot of clients that were ex-football players. They were running on the field and working out, and then all of a sudden they get a knee injury or something, and they can't work out like they used to. So they're piling on the weight, right? And so I couldn't work out. I couldn't work out anymore. And so my eating habits were sustained as I was working out. I could keep weight off because I was working out. Well, when I'm not working out, my eating habits piled the weight on because they were just so unhealthy.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even, I was drinking a lot of wine and I was eating a lot of chocolate. And I probably had a couple, well, I was depressed. So, I had those moments where I was like, well, forget it all. I don't care,
Oh yeah.
But 35 pounds in 1 month, so that's more than a pound a day. And I remembered my coach saying, Summer, you shouldn't have to work out to be healthy. Working out is a side effect of health. And I thought she was literally insane. I was like, this woman's nuts. Oh,
Yeah.
she doesn't know what she's talking about. And then all of a sudden I break my arm. I can't work out. So who do I want to call first? Her.
Yeah.
So I called her and I was like, I can't work out for 3 more months. I'm so scared I'm going to gain all 85 pounds back. And she's like, girl, I got you. So for the next 3 months, I did this easy, simple nutrition program, lost the 35 pounds I had gained and never, never gained it back. And then I found like, wow, if I can do this, the woman who's like about premenopausal, like has 3 kids, so busy. If I can do this, other people need this. This is so simple. And So I became so passionate about it. And honestly, Jack, it helped my relationship with my husband because I went from hiding in a closet to get dressed to prancing around the house feeling really good about myself. And it changed a lot of things in our relationship when you feel good about yourself.
Yeah, and
So,
prior to that, you were in the media business, correct?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. And for
So you
15 years, I was in television.
so you changed careers drastically from being on
Yes.
television to a fitness life coach, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
that's definitely a transformation, as you can imagine, you know?
Yeah. Well, television it seems glamorous,
Yeah,
but you're really just behind the scenes pressing a lot of buttons, working a lot of, I call it like you have multiple hats because you're always switching from whether you're interviewing people to, editing things or, you know, in a TV studio trying to organize everybody. Like it seems so glamorous. It's not glamorous at all. And it's very stressful. So you're eating a lot. That's when I gained all of my weight was in television because you're just so stressed out. You're
yeah,
eating mindlessly, trying to numb your emotions. And going from that to actually feeling alive, like a whole nother person, where now if I were to do televisions, which I'm still passionate about. I haven't done it, but if I were to do it, it'd be a whole different person because I'm not trying to shrink back and hide anymore,
yeah.
Be fun.
It's amazing that when I graduated from college, I got my degree in criminal justice and thought I wanted to go become a lawyer. Ended up becoming a cop in Boston for a few years in Haverhill,
Wow.
and now I have my 17-year career in real estate and development. And you get a degree in criminal justice, you're a cop, you're a bartender, and 17 years you've been now in the corporate America, Fortune 500 company as an executive. You just never know. And
Yeah.
I'm going to another season now where I'm trying to get away from that, and I'm trying to get into my passion project, my podcast,
Mhm.
my book, my community of men over 40 to give them structure, health, give them beliefs in that there's a higher purpose in what we do today. So
Yeah.
yeah, when you're passionate about something like you and I are, we don't care if we get paid or not. We just want to get people healthy and pour into them. I think that's how we get repaid. Would you agree?
Well, yes, I completely agree. And I love that, Jack. I just want you to know that's one of the things I admire most about you and Amanda. Like, it's evident that you guys love people and you love them well, and that
Yeah.
you want to see people not just live, but thrive. And I'm just grateful that I got to know you guys and meet you guys at the Hive. I mean, who would have thought just
Uh,
a little gym would bring so many people together?
I know, and that's the same feeling we have with Doug, and they've committed this, and Thea made this community that it's just branching, and it's growing. It's see how people walk in and they walk out a month later, like, man, they look so much lighter on their feet. They seem so much more, vibrant and coherent.
Yeah.
One of the things that we stepped into the Hive was that we were going through a transition of season with my career, with her emotions, with the relationship. Not every marriage is perfect, as you can imagine.
No. Oh, no.
I was told when we walked in there, we had these heavy clouds over us. And then talking to Tia recently and Logan, like, man, you just see the transformation the last 60 days that we've been there. It's just mind blowing. You're like the top one or two people that's ever joined the gym that transform as much as you have. I go, because we had a place that we could be genuine, where we could feel free to let go and not be
Mhm.
judged, and then have like-minded people around us. And so
Yeah,
why we like to give back, right? Because
that's
Hive,
right.
Hive didn't change me. It's the people in the community
Yeah.
that changed me, right?
Mhm.
And I keep telling that, Tia and Doug, people are like, who's Tia and Doug? They own the Hive Fit Club here in Scottsdale that we belong to. Um, it's a sanctuary. It
Yeah.
truly is, and it gives us purpose, and we love that about you. So, meeting yourself and Mike and everybody else here is just building our kingdom of people that we can go to for guidance or help or just have a meal with or whatever that may
Yeah.
be. That's the
Yeah.
purpose here. So before I let you go, is anything can you share with us how people can reach out to you? At the end of
Yeah.
the video, there'll be some links for them, but anything you want to plug in right now?
Yeah. If you're on Instagram or TikTok, it's just Summer Morenz, and my name is with one M, Summer with one M, so Sumer Morenz, and so that's Instagram, Facebook, and then TikTok as well. They're all the same, and I do actually have a Facebook community group for caregivers. So if
Okay.
you're a caregiver, if you're a mom, if you're a a partner that's just walking through some tough season and you need your tribe. And that's what I love about what Jack was just saying is that we're building our tribe around us that on our hardest days, we don't have to be perfect. We can be like, this is what we're navigating. We need you to lift our arms up in the season. So that's what it's called Caregiver's Guide to Sanity Facebook group. It's that easy. If you want to jump on and be a part of that, just to have some people surround you. And it's all different types of people from all over the country. So we'd love to have you join us there too.
Awesome. Well said, Summer. Thank you for joining us today.
Of
And
course.
until next time, keep stepping into the light, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you, Jack. Have a great one.
Bye bye.